அயல்நாட்டிலிருந்து வருகிற பேராளர்களை வரவேற்கிற வகையிலும் அவருடைய கருத்துக்களை கேட்கிற வகையிலும் அவர்களோடு கலந்து வகையிலும் இந்த நிகழ்வு ஒருங்கிணைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. இந்த நிகழ்வுக்கு வரவேற்புரையாற்ற பத்திரிகையாளர் கழகத்தினுடைய மாநில தலைவர் மாணவர் தமிழ்ச்செல்வனுடைய அன்போடு வைக்கிறோம். I would like to request Mr. Tamilselvan, President, Rationlist Forum, to welcome everybody.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். It's my privilege to address you all for this special program jointly organized by the Rationlist Forum and the Periyar Library Readers Circle. With all due respect, I would like to welcome our Asiriyar Dr. K. Veeramani, President, Davada Kadagam, and also the patron of the Rationlist Forum for making this evening more sensible. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest, respectful Daniel Walker, Freedom from Religion Foundation from USA, and respectful Amitabh Bal from USA, and respectful Avinash Patel, President, Maharashtra Andhra Nirmulan Samiti, for making their presence in this special occasion with us. மற்றும் இன்று இங்கு நம்முடைய சிறப்பாளர்களாக வந்திருக்கக்கூடிய எத்ராஜ் மகளிர் கல்லூரியின் மேலாளர் முதல்வர் மாணமிகு பேராசிரியர் டாக்டர் எம் தாவமணி அவர்களையும் வரவேற்று நம்முடைய திராவிட கழகத்தின் பிரச்சார செயலாளர் மாணமிகு வழக்கறிஞர் தோழர் அருள்மொழி அவர்களை வந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்கள் வருகிறவர்கள் என்று வரவேற்கிறேன். இன்று நம்முடைய நன்றி உரை வழங்க இருக்கிற வழக்கறிஞர் பெரியார் நூலக வாசகர் வட்டத்தின் தலைவர் மாணமிகு வீரமணி அவர்களை வருக என்று வரவேற்கிறேன். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை ஒருங்கிணைத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய மாணவர் அணி செயலாளர் மாணமிகு பிரின்ஸ் என்ஆர்எஸ் பெரியார் அவர்களையும், இந்த நிகழ்வில் அறிமுக உரை நிகழ்த்த இருக்கிற மாணமிகு குமரேசன் ஐயா அவர்களையும் வருக என்று வரவேற்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
நன்றி. Now, the treasurer of Dravida Kadagam, respectful Mr. V. Kumaresan, will deliver his introductory speech.
பகுத்தறிவாளர் கழகமும் பெரியார் நூலக வாசகர் வட்டமும் இணைந்து நடத்தக்கூடிய இந்த நிகழ்வுக்கு, சிறப்பு நிகழ்வுக்கு வருகை தந்துள்ள உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இங்கு வருகை தந்துள்ள விருந்தினர்கள் மூன்று பெருமக்கள். ஒருவர் ஏற்கனவே நமக்கெல்லாம் அறிமுகமானவர் தான். மகாராஷ்டிரா அந்த சிரத நிர்மூலன் சமிதி என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய மூட நம்பிக்கை ஒழிப்பை, அறிவியல் மனப்பான்மை வளர்க்கின்ற ஒரு பணியை முழுமையாக எடுத்து செய்கின்ற அமைப்பு. அந்த அமைப்பின் தலைவர், இன்னும் சொல்ல போனால் நரேந்திர தபோல்கர் நமக்கு தெரியும். அவர் நிறுவிய அந்த அமைப்பின் தலைவராக இருக்கக்கூடிய அவினாஷ் பாட்டீல் அவர்கள் வருகை தந்துள்ளார்கள். நாம் நடத்திய உலக நாத்திகர் மாநாடு, அது மட்டுமல்ல பல்வேறு மாநாடுகளிலே இங்கு வந்து பெரியார் திடலிலே திருச்சியிலே கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய நண்பர் தான் அவர். அடுத்து அமெரிக்காவில் இருந்து 2 பெருமக்கள் வருகை தந்துள்ளார்கள். Freedom from Religion Foundation, not Religious Foundation, it is Religion Foundation. The co-founder of that foundation, Mr. Daniel Walker, he has come. First time he is visiting our Periyar Tidal, our movement. Apart from that, an Indian origin but living in United States of America, he is the communication secretary of the same foundation, Mr. Amitabh. He has also come. He is also visiting our Periyar Tidal for the first time. நண்பர்கள் அருள்கூர்ந்து பொறுத்தள்ள வேண்டும். அவர்கள் இங்கு வருகை தந்ததன் நோக்கம் நம்முடைய இயக்கத்தை தந்தை பெரியார் அவர்கள் இன்று நம்மை எல்லாம் வழிநடத்தக்கூடிய தமிழக தலைவர் ஆசிரியர் அவர்கள் நமது அமைப்பு இதை பற்றி தெரிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் அவர்களுடைய தலையாய நோக்கம். அந்த வகையிலே இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலே அவர்களுக்கு புரிய வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக ஆங்கிலத்தில் சில கருத்துக்களை பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன். அறிமுக உரை என்பதன் பெயர் ஐயா அவர்கள் கூறியதை போல இது இரு மொழியில் நடத்தக்கூடிய ஒரு நிகழ்வு. அதால் கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய நண்பர்களும் தயக்கம் காட்ட வேண்டாம். ஆங்கிலத்திலும் நீங்கள் உரையாடலாம், தமிழிலும் உரையாடலாம். ஆசிரியர்களும் இருக்கிறார்கள், விருந்தினர்களும் இருக்கிறார்கள். உங்களுக்கு எழக்கூடிய சில விளக்கங்கள் எதுவும் தேவைப்பட்டால் தாராளமாக அவரிடம் எழலாம். அந்த மொழி என்பது இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை பொறுத்தவரை ஒரு பிரச்சனை அல்ல. இரண்டு மொழியிலே எது சுலபமாக வருகிறதோ அதில் உரையாடலாம் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு சுருக்கமாக சில கருத்துக்களை உங்கள் வந்திருக்கக்கூடிய விருந்தினர் பெருமளுக்கு to the kind attention of our guests who has come all along from Maharashtra and the United States of America to our periyar tidal. Actually, the notable thing, Mr. Amitabh and Mr. Dave Barker, the name of the organization, Freedom from Religion. The main thing is from religion, freedom from religion. It is not freedom to religion, or it is not a religious freedom. They are working for the cause of eradicating religion. They are against religion. So we are also against religion. Ideologically, we are close together. We are fighting for a common cause. But the religion means religion in your country, United States. Ideologically, both are together. Strategically, we have to differ on certain grounds. The implication of religion in United States is one thing. The implication of religion means every religion, it has got God for worshipping. The predominant religion in the United States of America, all of you are aware of. God is there. Here, the predominant religion in our country is Hindu religion, all of you are aware. It has got not only God, so many gods are there in the Hindu religion. Actually, in respect of God, it is a non-existing entity, God. But as far as your country is concerned, your work is concerned, you are, I think, I may be pointing out, you may be confining yourself with the denial of God. But we are going with one more dimension. It is not denial of God alone in India. It is opposing God, anti-God. Strategically, in that way, we are different. That means the God in this country, it has created a lot of things, detriments to the humanity. Because of that only, we have to oppose. As an organization, under the leadership of, ideological leadership of Tandai Periyar, and the present leadership of our beloved leader, Dr. We have to oppose God. That is the strategic difference between these two countries, that is two functional areas. Discrimination prevails everywhere in the country. Here, the speciality is birth-based discrimination. In the United States, also birth-based discrimination is there. The discriminating binary is black versus white. But here, it is fourfold discrimination. Varnashara Dharma. The supreme thing is Brahmins. The next layer is Kshatriya. Then one more layer below to that Vaishya. Then lowermost is Sudra. This is the fourfold division. Apart from this fourfold division, outcast is there. That is Panjama. All these categories are applicable only to male members. Irrespective of their birth, all women members, they are categorized below all these layers, below Panjama, it is a cunning design, man-made design. But the difference is, even though it is man-made, scriptures they have designed as if God has created this design. Man-made means it is easy to abolish. If it is a creation of the God, nobody will come forward to oppose it. So many progressive people, they came in the history to oppose this evil. They understood the concept. In respect of the working against the concept is many people, they confined with a limited area. They were not bold enough to oppose God. So here and there, some tinkering work, some progressive things they did. They confined within the framework of reformer. Whereas our mentor, our founder leader, Periyar, he understood the concept in a full-fledged manner, starting from the beginning. He knew very well what is the destination. Whether we can reach the destination in our lifetime, he did not bother. For that only, he founded the organization. Even after his lifetime, it has to continue. It is continuing under the able leadership of present leader, our Pastor Dr. K. Germany. That is the speciality. No other country, there's a cunning design is available, caste system, birth-based discrimination. So for that, so the design itself is cunning, very tactful. Accordingly, we have to fight against it. For that only, he founded the Dravida Kazhagam. And also, lot of progressive during the past revolutionary reformers decade, their ideologies have been fabricated after their period. But Periyar gave no room for it. We were opposing also in a straight, forthright manner, he opposed God. He gave a very good slogan. No God. No God. Nowhere is God. The one who invented God is a fool. The one who propagated God is a scoundrel. The one who worships God is a barbarian. So no one can go against it. In a Bhakta manner, he showed the direction. In that direction, we are traveling. It is not a mere abstract ideology. It is a practical ideology. Practically, we have carried out so many things which the rest of the states in our own country, India, they have not even entered the drawing room. Beginning, they have not commenced. The one speciality is in Tamil Nadu, we are the parental organization, ideological parent organization for both ruling party as well as opposition party. On the ruling party side, they have taken as a majority, they have come to rule. DNK, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, is a political will. In that, no one can trust all the members in the state legislative assembly. They took the pledge. As a member of the legislative way, not in the name of the God. As per the conscience. Not only members, all the ministers, including the chief minister. In other states, we can't even dream of it. That is the speciality. All those things were created because of the parental organization founded by Tandai Periyar. Then after the lifetime of Periyar, Annai Manigammayar, he led the organization for about 5 years. After her demise, our present leader, Dr. K. Veeramani is leading. He is in the 90th year of age. The vision of our present leader is Periyar is not confined to Tamil Nadu alone. Periyar is not confined to the rest of the states in India. His ideology is relevant to the whole world. Wherever human beings dwell, it is applicable to those areas. It is applicable to the entire humanity. The fundamental of Periyar ideology is self-respect, rationalism. Can any human being say, Self-respect is irrelevant to me. I won't accept self-respect. Self-respect is not available with me. Can any human being say like that? Same thing is respect to rationalism also. The only difference is how much they are realizing the self-respect. How much rationalistic way they are carrying out the task. That is the difference. In order to make them in full-fledged manner, as a human being, to realize the self-respect in full manner, and also to use the reasoning trait, quality available in them in the fullest extent. That is the social task which organizationally we are carrying out. In that way, our movement is basically a humanist movement. It is applicable for the whole world. In that way, both the Dravida Kalagam as well as your foundation, we have to join together to accomplish so many tasks. With this brief introduction, once again, I welcome all the guests from the United States of America and our Maharashtra and the Maharashtra and the Nirmulan Samiti to our premises, our headquarters of Dravida Kalagam, periyar. Thank you, comrade. Thank you.
Next, I would like to request our Professor Dr. M. Navamani, former principal, Ethiraj College for Women. She will deliver a general speech about this organization and the movement of periyar.
Revered president of today's special program, Manamigu Asiriraja avargale, the invited guests from United States and from Maharashtra, the co-president of co-founder of FFRF United States, most respected Don Barker, and the director of communication, the Freedom from Religious Foundation, United States, Mr. Amitabh Pal, and the president of Maharashtra, Shraddha Nirmulan Samiti, Mr. Ravinesh Patel, and the most respected Mr. Kumaresan, the treasurer of Dravida Kalagam, Mr. Tamil Selvan, the state president of the Rationlist Forum, the president of Periyar Library Readers Circle, Advocate Veera Mardini, and the compere of the program, Manamigu Prince NRS Periyar, State Secretary Dravida Kalagam Students Wing, and the invited guests, and good evening to one and all present here. At the outset, I wish to congratulate and thank the organizers of this program, the State Rationlist Forum and the Periyar Library Readers Circle for organizing this wonderful program and giving me an opportunity to speak on this occasion. As pointed out by our treasurer, I'm going to speak on mainly touch upon the two aspects. One is how the education has enabled our state to perform in all spheres of parameters, development parameters. The development of a state or a nation is measured in terms of life expectancy, education, and the standard of living. It is a composite of all three important factors. And if you look upon it has been advocated by our Tante Periyar, education is very, very essential to promote the development of a nation. And particular, he was addressing and focusing on the development of Tamil society here. And the kind of education which has been propagated by our Tante Periyar, which is relevant even today, not only applicable here for the Tamil society, but for the whole world, is inculcating the scientific spirit through rational thinking. The curriculum of education should allow the person's ability to think on their own. It is analytical thinking which will help the individual. When the individual grows, the family grows. When the family grows, the nation grows. So for the development, it is essential to develop the rational thinking. That is the first one. And not only developing rational thinking, but also he laid foundation, or he emphasized that education should enable the person to respect a fellow human being. It is not merely education. It is not merely education imparted to perform the clerical job for which earlier the Macaulay's education was imparting, but whereas the periyar emphasized the education should result in creating and respecting fellow human being, which all of us are now talking about, the human rights, respecting the other human being. And the next one is the very most important thing is concern for others. Concern for others. Whoever is in need of help, we should be able to help and understand and empathize with the person and sympathize with the person. At the same time, enable support the person to overcome all this, and so that there will be development. And the education here, what has been given, has actually now changed over the years. And particularly, if you look at our Tamil Nadu state, we are very proud to say that even in women's education also, we have achieved almost a gender index. If you look at the gender index in the higher education, the gap is only 0.99, 0.99. That speaks itself. Not only the education he promoted or he advocated for men alone, but also for women. In fact, in one of the speeches, he says, I quote, if I become by any chance a minister, definitely I will start spending money on boys' education, but for first 10 years, the entire money would be spent only on educating the girl children or female children, which we are all very proud of, because it is actually women's education, girls' education, which has as a result of which now we are boasting that in higher education the gender gap is only 0.99. And even if you take, the employment, we are very proud to say that we are actually having more women working, not only in the professionals, but also in all other spheres of life and in all other education also. Though there is a decline in the women employment in the recent past because of pandemic, But we are very sure, we are very confident over the years we'll overcome this. But only one concern which I would like to appeal here is the women, girl students or the women students, they join or they prefer doing arts, science and commerce education rather than going for professional education. The main reason why the girls are not opting for the professional education is mainly the parents who are very concerned about getting, these girls educating the professional courses is most expensive. And that is the one. And the second thing is marriage. In between comes, the marriage. When the girl is educated, they have to find a suitable boy who is also equally educated, if not more educated, at least equally educated. So there is a great concern for the parents. That is the reason why maybe probably they are not actually sending their children, girl children for professional education. But the trend has actually changed. Actually, if we compare some 20, 25 years back, it was not so. But now, slowly, the girls also are getting professional qualifications and they are doing better than even boys. Even if you take the public examination results, actually the girls' enrollment is more, and as well as the passing percentage of female population is much more than the boys. Not only in the school education, but also in higher education and professional studies courses. And the next thing which I would like to address upon is the liberation of women, as pointed out by our treasurer, Manamihil Kumaresan sir. He's made a mention that the women are kept below in the hierarchy level. And why is it so? He also said it is mainly, it has been created, developed by men. But if you say that man has created, then it can be removed very easily. But they also impose something in the name of God, because you are expected to serve your parents at the beginning when they are a child, or you should be, it is the parents' responsibility looking after a girl. And after marriage, it is husband's responsibility. After husband, it is actually the son who has to take care of the woman. So the emphasis has been like this. எப்பவுமே யாராவது ஒருத்தருக்கு உங்களை பார்த்துக்கணுமே தவிர நீங்க உங்களுக்காக நீங்க இண்டிபெண்டா இருக்கக்கூடாது. You don't have freedom to do anything on your own because you are not capable of doing. But that is not the case. Women, that is questioned by Tandai Periyar, saying in no way the women are different. The women are different from men, or men are different from women. They are equals. That is the reason why he promoted, as I mentioned earlier, the education should be important to girls. And education, not really education in those days, for girls, the importance was different curriculum, and for boys, different curriculum. For girls, the emphasis is for developing a girl to become a housewife rather than a family. I mean, rather than equal to man. So there was a difference in the curriculum also, but subsequently everything was changed and equally it is created on the propaganda made by Tandai Periyar. It is not only that, in the name of religion, they also control women. They said no, there is no right to property. You don't have a right to have any control on childbirth. And and also on the job. Whereas Tandai Periyar emphasized that, advocated for to remove this oppression or suppression of women. The women should be given education, freedom to express themselves, and what all they said in the name of God, it should be taken away, that in the name of God, nothing can happen. You are equal. And also, one most important thing which I would like to emphasize here is, or highlight is, don't expect freedom from men. ஆண்கள் வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து freedom, உங்களுக்கு வந்து உரிமை கொடுப்பாங்கன்னு நினைக்காதீங்க. You have to take it on yourself, upon yourself. You are responsible for your own freedom. That is the fundamental principle based on which, you know, Periyar propagated the women's rights. And the right or the feminism which has been propagated or advocated by Tandai Periyar is relevant not only for the Tamil society, not only confined to the Tamil Nadu state or the Indian state, but for not only for the India, but for the entire world. And that is the reason why the title Periyar was conferred on him by women in a women's conference. And long live Periyar, and we are very confident the women will spearhead not only in education but also in all spheres of life, and for which we look upon working together, which will definitely make difference in the lives of not only women but in the entire human society. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Thaumani. ஒரு தெளிவான அழகான ஒரு அறிமுக உரையை வழங்கி இருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு நம்முடைய நன்றி. தொடர்ந்து நம்முடைய சிறப்பு அழைப்பாளர்களுக்கு, வருகின்ற பெருமக்களுக்கு, பகுத்தறிவாளர் கழகத்தின் சார்பிலும் பெரியார் நூலக வாசகர் ஓட்டத்தின் சார்பிலும் சிறப்பு செய்யப்படுகிறது. I would like to request our beloved leader, Dr. K. Veeramani, to felicitate our co-founder of FFRF, USA, Dan Barker, with a shawl and books. Thank you.
This is better than the Bible.
Next, to Mr. Amitabh Pal, Director of Communication, Freedom from Religion Foundation, USA. Thank you. Next to Mr. Avinash Patil, President, Maharashtra Adhishthata Nirmoolan Samiti. Thank you. Next, Mr. Avinash Patil. He is from Maharashtra, and from the movement of Dr. Narendra Dabholkar, there is Maharashtra Adhishthata Nirmoolan Samiti. I request Mr. Avinash Patil to deliver a special address, who have accompanied our comrades from USA, and he had guided them to visit Periyar Tidal. Always you are welcome, Mr. Avinash.
Welcome to all. we are eager to hear our CRR, Dr. V.K. Veermani, then the guest from US, Mr. Dan Barker and Amitabh Pal. So I'm just take 2-3 minutes to this talk with you that I'm feeling very inspired when the thought of the Tandai Periyar and his the place that is the Periyar Tidal in Chennai. I'm coming here second time. Before that, when the Athis conference organized by David Kargam in Trichy, that time you all colleagues, brothers and sisters have been there, and we have get more strength to work for rational society, to eradicate superstition in the society, to challenge the blind faith and so-called God man's miracles claim in the world, and so that after Dr. Narendra Dabokar's brutal assassination in 20th August 2013 in Pune, we are start again organize and stand for the eradication of superstition and blind faith. And I am very much proud that Dr. K. Veermani and David Kargham has stand behind our organization, inspire our all activists to work together. And during at this conference, we are meet very so many where so many places. Mr. Kubresan and Prince and our state president of the Rationalist Forum are Tamil Selvan are very well in contact about the all activities from David Kagam and Mans also. So I am very much glad to see you all again, to meet Honorable Dr. K. Veermani sir, to talk with them. And I think I have introduced them to Mr. Dan that Dr. K. Veermani is our India's rationalist Pitamaha with his college. He is our father of rationalist organization and symbol of rationalism for India to the world. So periyar is our Periyar's thought and Periyar's life is our inspiration long time. So we will continue maintain this inspiration and convey to our next generation to get together, get organized. And again, I remind all of you that we have to work together in national perspective of India, because we have a very much big challenges in last 10 years in socio-political life. There is some political challenges, there is a election party politics challenges, there is a national leadership challenges, but we don't have a miracle to change that. We have to work together for eradicate that superstitions in the name of constitution, in the name of democracy, in the name of secularism. So we have to get together, take hand in hand with us and eradicate that superstition on the name of constitution. On the name of constitution, they are demolishing all the institutions created by constitution to run our nation, our India. They have abolished all humanist values, our sense and social wealth, social reformers legacy, which is inspiration for us. That is Gandhi, Ambedkar, Periyar, and all persons are contributed their life to build this society, this Indian community, this nation. So we have to come together to create a huge mass public pressure as a humanist as a rationalist, as an atheist, as a free thinker, as an agnostic, whatever we have to be, but we are all are progressive. We have all are rationalists, and we are trying to take hand in hand with world rationalists also. So that when in 2019, FFRF, Freedom from Religion Foundation, based in US, America's United States state, Wisconsin, and headquarters is Madison. They have invited me for receiving Avijit Roy Courage Award. Mr. Avijit Roy has also assassinated in Bangladesh because he is a progressive writer, journalist, investigator, activist, and fundamentalist or right-wing persons are assassinated to Avijit Roy and his wife Bonia Khan and Avijit Roy has get down there, but Bonia is still alive, and FFRM has decided to memorize Avijit Roy's devotion. They have started one award, international level award. First award they are given to Pakistani activists, and second award they are given to Mans for the stand they have firmly taken after the brutal assassination of our leader Dr. Narendra Davolkar. So they have invited me in to receive this award in their convention or FFRS convention. That time I have visited America, some like-minded, that Richard Dawkins Center for Inquiry, American Humanist International, all these like-minded rationalist groups or organizations are also eager to interact, to associate each other with each other. And after that, from that time, Mr. Dan Barker has interested to visit India, because India's image in abroad is some pilgrims, some Nagas and then Babas and Chamatkari persons are there. But we are changing. We have changed in 75 years. And now we are celebrating 75 years of our independence as a nation. So he has interested to visit India and to meet the rationalists from India, the groups and organizations working in India. And due to COVID and lockdown period, it is not possible to plan his tour. And just from last 6 months, we are going to plan this tour. And from 31st December to 13th January, around 15 days India tour has planned for Dan and Amitabh, and they have forced me to plan this tour, and I am very much glad to plan this tour with our like-minded groups and organization interaction plan. And from 31st, in 3 or 4 days in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, then Dhule is my head office, my office is there, our organization state office and colleagues are there. Then from Dhule we are coming to Aurangabad to Chennai today morning, and he is also, and I am also again eager to meet Dr. K. Virmani sir, our all colleagues, designatories. After that, we are going to attend in the Athis conference in Vijayawada on 7th and 8th January. Then after, they are going to, Amitabh is from Indian origin and he is based from Uttar Pradesh, the Yogi state. Nowadays Yogi state. Yes, bulldozer ruling state is there now. In media is quoted as a bulldozer running state. So, and then after, so Amitabh is know that how is the UP, Gorakhpur and Lucknow also. Then after they are visiting to Punjab, that's the Tarkashil Society of Punjab is working there. the interaction is planned there. And then after for 2 days in Delhi, the capital of our nation, this type of the tool we have planned, because within a 15 days there is no possibilities to go around to India's all states and all our like-minded meet to all our like-minded groups, but they are just introduced by our Indian rationalist group, their variations, their interactions, their experiences, they are working, how they inspire from which ideology, and what they are successing ideologies, and what they have challenges to run away this ideology with their organizations, their groups, and as an individual. So Dan will be speech and Amitabh will be speech with you all. I am again thankful to see you all again here, and thank you for this all warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avinash. And in this moment, I would like to remember in 2020, our beloved Asriyar, Dr. K. Veeramani, has been conferred with Dr. Daborkar Award by Maharashtra Foundation in USA. And this kind of interactions and inter-organizational learning is very much needed among the rationalists and the humanist associations. That's why in 1932, Periyar visited European nations to learn how other rationalist and humanist organizations are running in that period. So that's how we see this visit of FFRF people and their office bearers. Now I would like to request our beloved Amitabh Pal, Director of Communication, Freedom from Religion Foundation. Kindly deliver your address, please.
Thank you so much, everybody, for having us here. It's already been, due to the good efforts of Avinashji, it's already been my most memorable visit to India. I've said this before, maybe except my wedding in '98. Really, within just a few days in Mumbai, we had two really memorable sessions. One at the Mumbai Press Club, one in a forum in Mumbai at an auditorium where we met a 100-year-old and a 99-year-old freedom fighter, and then there were performances there, and then after that, now this really it's just been amazing. My sister-in-law is Tamil, and so I've been to Chennai once before for the wedding reception, but at that time I didn't come here, so this is really new for me. So thank you so much, and I'd like to speak on sort of a comparative framework of what India and the United States are going through. But especially for our audience here, I have a comparison that is so favorable to the work that has been done in this state and how it has made the Indian South so different from the American South. So in the United States, the South, the southern region, is by far the most conservative, the most white Christian nationalist region in the country, without doubt. And now this seems to have extended even to Florida, which is not necessarily thought of as part of the South, although geographically it is. Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, all of that. I was telling Dan here that the Indian South is quite different. Two states especially. Now I know the BJP is in power in Karnataka, so it cannot be, it cannot be generalized. But generally, speaking with broad brush and broad strokes, especially for Tamil Nadu and Kerala, because of progressive movements, because of progressive thinking, because of progressive ideology, how they have been almost completely immune, at least politically, to the lure of Hindu nationalism, and how that differs so much from the US South, which is kind of the inverse in terms of its loyalty to that ideology. And in fact, it is so much an inverse. I was reading in the UP elections, members of the dominant communities in just the state elections that happened some months ago, 80 to 90% voted for the BJP. I mean, those are astounding numbers for me. That that's almost unanimous vote of a community for a particular party. The same thing happens in reverse in some sense in the US South, where white folks, let's be honest, vote in mega numbers, 60, 70, 80% for the Republican Party because they believe that it defends white Christian values. So doing this in a broader framework, getting into the subject, the founding principles or the ideas of both countries have been under threat recently. I would argue in the United States, the recent threat has been even much bigger than Watergate and the biggest threat in modern times, I'm not going back to the Civil War era, etc., to the notion of democracy and pluralism in the United States. The attack on January 6th on the Capitol was a manifestation of that. We did a lot of hard work to prove that, and Dan will talk a bit more about it, that white Christian nationalism was a big part of the attack, basically, because they feel threatened by a changing society that is changed because of two things. The 1965 Civil Rights Act, which gave full rights to African Americans, and the 1965 Immigration and Nationality Act, because of which I'm standing before you, because of which my father immigrated to the US in the early 70s, which opened the doors for non-white immigration. All of this has made the majority community in the United States feel under siege. And Trumpism, I'll talk a bit more about that, is a result of that. Now, just a month or two ago, and the US is covered, I know, somewhat well in the Indian papers also, there were midterm elections in the United States. There was the prediction that because of economic concerns and other reasons, that there'd be a massive vote for the Republican Party against the Democratic Party. That did not happen completely, at least. Also, in spite of the wishes of the Republican Party, Vice President Mike Pence, somebody who I can say, Dan, I, and other people at FFRF are not very fond of, at least certified the elections. Even though 145 members of Congress, 139 members of the House, and 8 senators voted to refuse to recognize the results of the 2020 elections. But democracy, I think, maybe has barely been saved in the US. The House is now still, though, under Republican control, narrowly. The Senate narrowly under Democrat control, and the fight continues. A parallel in both countries is how here other institutions have been taken over too by the ruling parties, from the EC to CBI, etc. I need not tell you, but a parallel has been how the court system in both countries has been completely compromised. The federal judicial system, Trump has appointed 1/3 of the Supreme Court justices, 1/3 of the judges at all levels. And as a result, for example, obviously, most obvious manifestation is the reversal of abortion as a right in the United States. And there are Trump judges at all levels giving adverse rulings, which is a major concern. Here we know the Supreme Court has just either been completely spineless or with the ruling party on issues ranging from the Ram Mandir dispute to electoral bonds, and just one can go on and on. Talking of electoral bonds, big money is yet another disturbing parallel. United States Supreme Court allowed the infusion of what's called dark money, unaccountable money into the system with the Citizens United ruling. Here, the Supreme Court, again, hasn't even heard the case, has allowed electoral bonds, which is, again, as you all know, anonymous donations, basically, to political parties, of which I need not tell you, you won't be surprised that the vast majority is going to a single party, which I do not need to name. A difference, though, in both countries is in the state of the media. The United States has a right-wing media ecosystem, Fox News, Sinclair, other things. But here, I'm not an expert on Tamil broadcast media, so I cannot speak to that. But English and Hindi have almost completely been taken over by right-wing forces. the last remaining standing bastion, NDTV, again, Adani bought it out just a month or two ago, and everybody's resigning from it. It's just absolutely incredible. That's true in the US as it goes, because the mainstream media there, the Times, the broadcast media, etc., are still quite critical of Trumpism and Trump. So why did Trumpism and Modiism come into being in these countries around the same time? It's quite fascinating. You know, he comes to power 2016, Modi, of course, 2014. I would argue it is a result of majoritarian anxiety. As I said, in the United States, the majority is feeling anxious at a changing society. Here, especially, and again, Tamil Nadu and Kerala are very much exceptions, but especially in the Hindi belt, the majority population has been motivated and sort of propagandized by this notion that Muslim atrocities in the past and anxieties about Muslim domination in the future. That they're going to be a majority, they're going to dominate us, and hence we need to take revenge for what happened in the past and ensure that that future does not come about. Cousin of mine, basically, when I told him that that won't happen, there will not be a Muslim majority anytime soon, and why is he worried about that and not about lack of healthcare, education? He says nothing can be done about all of that anyway, so there's no need worrying about all that. We need to worry about the future. I'm not making this up. So the notion of both of these people, Trump and Modi, is we represent the people. People defined as the majority people, the true sons of the soil. The rest of the population doesn't matter. And because we represent the people, we can subvert institutions one after the other, because these institutions are standing between the people and the expression of the true will. And we represent that true will. And it is really fascinating that how in such different countries, such political manifestations have happened at the same time. The thing that saves the US somewhat is that the majority population is actually less in composition, or a smaller number, smaller proportion than India. 61% is white right now, 2/3 of the voting population, because a lot of the recent Latino people are not necessarily citizens. Here it's much more, as you all know, closer to 75-80%. And that, given the Indian electoral system and the first past the post system, gives BJP about 40% or so of the votes. Similarly, in the US, they receive roughly about that much. Trump receives that much. But in the Indian system, because of the division among all the other parties, it's enough to carry the BJP to a comfortable majority. In the United States, you know, it's tough for them to bridge that, but of course, it has caused enough damage. So in the end, just to end, I'm worried about the political future of both countries. The United States also seems to be a bit in peril, India much more so. And, as I said, in India, in the United States, at least there's a countervailing force at the national level. In India, as we all know, sadly, no, basically, or almost no. And as a result, we'll be seeing, I think, much more of that in India in time to come. And it's so wonderful that we all here are gathered are these rationalist progressive movements dedicated to fighting that Hindu nationalism that's taking over at the national level. And at least due to the good work of Dravid Kazhagam, at least in one state, in a major state in India, which so pleasantly surprised Dan also, I can speak for him, that there is not that domination, and Tamil Nadu and Kerala are thankfully two outliers in the Indian political system. Thank you so much.
I'll say, Amitabh Pal's speech was informative and thought-provoking. You may be the right person to speak about how the parallel people from USA and India are thinking, and the current scenario of USA and India. It is a very good observation, and we need to think about that, and we have to come out of this Modiism and Trumpism. We'll do that. We have the hope that's all we can go, and that's why we are running. Next, I would like to invite our respectful Daniel Barker, co-founder, Freedom from Religion Foundation. We welcome. Yeah.
Nandri. I just asked her how to say namaste and Tamil. Vanakkam. What a pleasure to learn about such a vibrant culture, such beautiful people, and such many rationalists, and so many people who care about human rights. When Avinash invited us to come to India, Amitabh and I, we came here to learn with our eyes open, to find out more about what's happening. Because most people in the US don't know much about India. We have a very simple thinking, oh, India, they have the gurus. Everybody speaks Hindi. I didn't know about Tamil language. I knew there was a state, Tamil Nadu, but they have a language? How many 120 million people in the world speak Tamil? That's incredible. That's amazing. So it's a broad world, and I'm so happy to learn about this center and about all of these people working hard for equality and for freedom. As Amitabh told you, he is an immigrant to the United States, and the United States is a nation of immigrants, except for one exception, the local indigenous people. Everyone else they call the melting pot, you know, everybody is mixing. So I am a melting pot. My mother has ancestry in Sweden, Ireland, Mexico, and Spain. My father is indigenous Indian from one of the tribes of the United States, the Lenni Lenape tribe. We are from the Turtle clan of the Lenape tribe. So I look a little more like my mother, but my father is a very proud member, and I am a very proud, my children are proud members of an American Indian tribe. That is to say that Amitabh is an Indian American, and I am an American Indian. Because you Manhattan and so on. It is a country of mostly outsiders, but there are some of us indigenous people who still remain. And in my tribal ancestry, there was a tradition of equality, of men and women, of all people equal. No tradition of some big hierarchical king or lord or master. At the Freedom from Religion Foundation, we feel the same way. We started as an organization in 1978. A couple of years before that, our principal founder, Anne Nickel-Galo, she and her daughter, Annie Laura Gaylor, were fighting first for women's rights, for women's equality, for women to have equal opportunity, for women to have access to birth control, to plan their families, for women to be able to resist patriarchy and the male macho men who were trying to control women's bodies. The same problem happens around the world where patriarchy is in control. Women did not control their property. They did not own their children. They could not go to college. They could not vote. Can you imagine that? Women could not even participate in their own democracy. So Ann Gaylor in Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a northern state. It's right up next to Canada, right above Chicago, from Chicago, Wisconsin, Canada. And which means right now it's very cold. It's freezing snow, and we came with our coats down to here, which I'm glad it's winter here. They tell me that in Chennai in the summertime, you don't go outside. But so Ann Gaylor was fighting for women's rights, and she was opposed to the laws that were oppressing women. And she noticed that the primary enemy of women's rights is religion. She said religion is always putting women down. And one day, she went to the city county meeting to give a talk. She had some talk about women's rights. But before the meeting began, the meeting at a public event was opened by a Catholic priest.
information of this august audience, it is my bounden duty not only to welcome our guest, Mr. Avinash Patil has been thanked because he is our dream. But for him, he would not have met these kind of people. So that everywhere, this kind of ideology is being taken everywhere. But there is some kind of language barrier. There are some kind of other barriers. But still, since we all belong to one flag, that is the free thinkers, that is more important. We are all very close relatives. And because we believe in the sea of humanity, no caste barriers, no religion barriers, no nothing doing, all of them we have kept away. And I'm very happy that to know about Van Barker, I think our friends were ought to have introduced it properly, but anyhow, somehow it's better. He became a teenage evangelist at the age of 15. That is why he is able to expose very clearly. So he has narrated this beautiful experience. And he is a person who has released from the prison of religion. So he has got every right to find fault with it. More than theoretical experience, practical. But one unfortunate thing for the religion is still his place in heaven or hell, we don't know, because we don't believe it. Still his place is there. We will go and fill it up, don't worry. The seats are vacant and we will go because it is meant for periyar only. They are very staunch atheists, they are staunch rationalists, and whatever name that may be, but we are all one and the same, drive towards that one. And for your information of this august audience, Van Barker declared himself as an atheist in 1984, as very rightly pointed out, saying that he has lost faith in faith. That is more important. He has lost faith in faith. That is what 100 years ago, nearly 98 years ago, what Periyar has done and converted this as a mass movement, as a self-respect movement. We are very proud because the world is coming to this way. Ultimately, everywhere, knowing or unknowingly, and education of all these things are very important. And we have been used all media to propagate atheism. I am amazed because media, they are allergic to rationalism. They always being prompted by, if you take our media here, they are always the strong advocates and proponents of superstition. In spite of our constitution, which says very clearly, here is we are very legitimately can be proud of this one, Constitution of India. And what this movement, visibly or invisibly, has achieved from this movement, what is the outcome? Already, the concept has been knowingly or unknowingly has entered into and acknowledged the constitution. How far it has come into practice, that's the question. That is a different question. But leave alone that one. The first victory is that we are able to shatter that wall and we are able to cross in and enter into that area, the fundamental duties. This is Article 51A, fundamental, the Constitution of India. And there is another book, The Free Thinkers, The History of American Secularism. How we both think America is supposed to be an advanced nation. What for? In capitalism. But so far as the rationalists and the humanists and freedom from religion is concerned, we are far ahead of it. But we must all come together. That is so important. Because we want more dance, we want more Avinash, we want more Avinash Patils everywhere. Because And we love to win the war against ignorance, the war against inequality, the war against all kinds of atrocious things against humanism. That is more important. Here, there is officially, there is a chapter which has been inserted here, fundamental duties. There is fundamental rights, another is fundamental duties. And among them, for want of time, I don't want to digress, but straight away I go to the subject. It shall be the duty of every citizen of India to develop the scientific temper, to develop the scientific temper. There is a difference in the law, as lawyers know it. The scientific temper, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. All these things are combined only with the Dravida Kazhagam and FFRF. All three, because the basically thing is no religion now welcomes or advocates scientific temper. If it advocates scientific temper, it is no more, it could be called as a religion. The first qualification to be a religious person is believe what we say. As we say, believe. You will have to obey. Don't question. Accept. Believe. But whereas we, the free thinkers of the world, we may be in Tamil Nadu, he may be in America, he may be in some other countries. That doesn't matter because humanization and periyar has to be globalized now. This is high time. What we want is humanism. Our sense of humanism is the propensity to make the societies equal, to provide equal opportunity, to make it. We never discriminate on the basis of religion, on the basis of sex, on the basis of etc., blah, blah, blah. That's all. That is more important. And here, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. Exactly. This is what we are doing, this kind of work. Exactly. For periyar started this, names may be different. Here it may be self-respect movement. Here it may be Rationlist Forum. There it is freedom from religion. All this. But we are all joined together towards one goal, that is humanity, a free will. And only because of that we are able to bring this one. Can you see the person without any cell phone now? Whether the cell phone was invented by any of the religious persons? Otherwise, you would not have been a preacher at all. We need not call with a loud shout. Now, even for God, all religion, they use this one. Because whether God is hearing it or not. And their prayers is helped being by the loudspeaker only. What does it mean? Loudspeaker was not invented by the rishis, nor the religious persons. So now there is a very, very peculiar anachronism, I would like to say. They want to support religion, support superstition with the help of science. They are doing it in a scientific way to spread the unscientific ideas. So the work before us is very different. The work is that, first of all, we will have to educate to uneducate. We will have to make people to learn to unlearn. That is more important. It is very peculiar one. How to unlearn is more important because no, it is my grandfather's way. Your grandfather, grandfather were never thought this cell phone. Why you are using it? This question he cannot answer. Your grandfather, let them do it, let them be very safe in the heaven or hell, whatever it is. We need not bother about it, but we will go back. We will take the society along with that. That is more important, where there is no discrimination. And this is the very fulcrum. This is the basic thing, basic idea of It may be his organization, Freedom from Religion. Dravida Kazhagam is doing the same work. Rationalist Forum is doing the same work. That is why I am very happy. And he has got the word as free thinker. This is very important. Freedom from Religion Foundation. Not only freedom from religion, it's a religion connotes all kinds of belief. Otherwise, you will be done to hell. That's the problem. Nambaravunukku Nadaraja. Nambaravunukku, those who believes, they will have to face that. And everybody is being afraid. Nobody is nobody is prepared with that. They are not philosophers. That is why we are carrying this kind of propaganda. We welcome you with great heart. This kind of work we must force with alliance. There may be political alliances. Now we are making it as social alliances, national alliances. This is I am very happy. We are very thankful to Mr. Avinash Patil. We are thankful to Mr. Amla and consider this as one of the areas. Because the only difference is Periyar did this one. Periyar movement is not after any political offices. And we are very happy to swim against the current. We never receive any bouquets, only brickbats. As you said, no, everybody is there. At least you are spared to continue this work. But ours, we have been, our lives are attempted. Periyar's life was attempted. We have under incarceration, we have many times. But still we consider that is the proper price to convert people to think for themselves. So it is very easy for this kind of thing. And you know, here, a small thing, I don't want to take much of your time. You see, this is the free thinkers' history of American secularism. One kind you will have to bring to your notice is, one point is, even in America, you see here, in our currency, we don't ask God to come there. And when our Prime Minister decided to give this kind of reform, economic reform, the Panama, you know this one. Demonetization. If God is there, God would have demonetized. He got it. Yeah, here, you know this one? And you know, in our currency, here we are very happy. Yeah, in God we trust. But here, even the fundamental is very happy. This moment is, however, we are very happy. There is no place for God in currency. And not only that. In what we trust, we trust, that's all. Let God take rest, that's all. Let him be not disturbed, that's all. And I will tell you another incident. When there was a lady in America, he is a good friend of mine. When I had been there, he asked, this Veermani, I would like to ask one question, which is on in mind. Come on, madam, you come on, I can clear whatever it is I am able to say. That was very important. See, in your country, you are carrying a very good social organization. But your population is growing by leaps and bounds. 25, 30 crores, 100 crores, now 120. It is going on. Are you not containing it? How you could develop the development of growth of the economy, growth of the other things? It's a very big problem. That is why I'm more worried about. She is an American lady. She is basically from this Jewish community. But he is a family friend of mine at New York. We were talking. I told madam, oh, you must take up this cause and all this. I said, look here. Our leader, our movement was the pioneering movement in 1930s about advocating birth control. And immediately she was taken aback. She was clapping her hands. Oh, we didn't know because ours will pioneer. But in spite of it, you may ask, why, in spite of it, why, how it is the growth of population is there? Population. I said, basically, the mind is conditioned. People are their poverty is there, and they don't have any other recreations, recreations, only procreations, that's all. That is the problem. Another thing is, how do they justify? That is one question. How do they justify when asked? Oh, it is God given. It is God given. So, one more additional work is being given in India for God. That is God given. God given. All these things. Periyar has got a very high sense of humor. Yeah. He used to address, hey, if your God is so kind, you say the God is omnipotent, God is omnipresent, God is omniscient, he's so humanistic. He ought to have given you 2 houses, 10 houses, 10 cows, so that you could milk them and you all feed the children. Without giving the house, without giving the money, without giving the milk, he has ordered and he has given the children milk. Can be such a irresponsible rascal. Don't abuse the name of God. How he was telling. So this was the reason, because their mindset, we will have to disabuse their mindset. That's what that is being done. Because if they go to disobey, we will have to disabuse our mind. What is the religion? Because no religion will take it. No. Our population will come down. So don't advocate the birth control, all these things. And this was an answer. I was amazed to hear this. And at last, he said, this people now we understand. Please advise your God. Don't ask him to work overtime. That's all in India. So how this concept conditions their mind. That is what are from freedom. We want seek to freedom. Nothing particularly about against creatures, against people. Because we want to save the people. And we want to make reasoning. Thereby the growth is very important. I am very happy. My dear friends from United States, you have done. And your information that earlier it was 3, then somewhat 39,000 or something you have done. Another question is, let me conclude this one, thanking the Turkish. Another question is, when another foreign friends came, yeah, sir, after interviewing me, many questions. Sir, what is the membership of your organization? That question always, membership of your organization, DK, Dravida Academy. I said, Madam, we have kind in our organization, we are having 2 kinds of membership. One is visible, another is invisible. Immediately that person, that young lady who was writing, taking notes, put down, what? Are you running an underground movement? Are invisible. I told that visible members are invisible members. And the 2 classes. We can count, we can register the visible members, but not the invisible members. It is countless. That is more important. What is the difference between visible black shirts? Invisible, all the people who don't have the black shirt at all. Not only that, you see here, there, that gentleman there, he is a member of our organization, invisible person. for appearance, but his heart of hearts is the most secularist free thinker. He never but it is his way of life. Just try putting some kind of dress and all these things. For him, this connotes more equality and all these things. So we don't want to convert them. We don't want to enlist them. We don't want to give them a membership. So our organization daily propagating this kind of thing without any political strings. If at all, even for women, this is the problem. See here, normally women never attaches any caste names or anything. For your information, sir, our movement is going to celebrate on 25th, 2025, the centenary of this movement. And our political movement, the Dravidian model government that is going on, that is why Tamil Nadu is far ahead than UP and all the states and your country. Because it is a Dravidian model under the able and inspiring dynamic chief minister of Tamil Nadu. This is what that is going on. For your information, my friends from America, even in that progressive state, they were fighting for women's suffrage. Voting rights. வாக்களிக்கும் உரிமை அவங்களுக்கு இல்லை ரொம்ப நாள். But in India, 1922, the Justice Party, the Dravidian Party rule has secured that one even 100 years back because of this movement, Dravidian movement, because of this movement which is far ahead and far from freedom from religion. If you believe in religion, confine. If you take dictionary and see that word, what is the definition of religion? It is a communication with the supernatural or something. This is how they are defined. You communicate with the supernatural if it is there. Why you are bothering with all these things? And for another information, we the atheists, we the humanists, we the rationalists, we the free thinkers, we the people who are advocating freedom from religion, we never happen to be a person who believed in violence. We never believed in violence. We believe everybody should be our brothers and sisters. This kind of forging human humility and more than integration. Religions are dividing people. Gods are dividing people. Rituals are dividing the people. And other things are dividing the people. But reason, humanism unites the people. The other name of periyar is humanism. We human self-respect movement. The animals never care for self-respect. We don't advocate for animals. People, because the animals know. But humans only, it applies to the self-respect philosophy. That is why it is for us to unite and make people to realize that we are one and indivisible. Religion divides, gods divide, but reason, self-respect movement, periyar movement, which is nothing but a humanist movement, freedom from religion movement, all unites in humanity. That is why, even though he is from America, he is from Bombay, he is from everywhere, we are all one kith and kin. That is the philosophy of Dravidian. All our kith, all our kin. This philosophy is against religion, which has created various disparity among the people. That is why it is high time that we welcome you, sir, and we are all co-fighters. Our journey is towards the particular destiny, and we will go there. Whatever may be the foils and problems, we will face it. Whatever may be the trials and tribulations, we will solve it. We will carry on the torch. Let us hold our hands together and let us all hold our hands together so that we will vote and let periyar be the working model so that the periyar doesn't leave. So I'm very happy. The ex-religionist, ex-religion, who is raised from religion, and a person who was born without religion. All of them, they are one and equal. Thank you very much. All the our sense of unity. Let us grow our unity. This is the message that we are conveying. Thank you.
Thank you. And to mark and celebrate the coalition between our organization and FFRF, our leader, Dr. K. Veeramani, will present our books to FFRF's library. This set of books contains translated versions of Periyar's writing in German, French, Marathi, English, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu, Hindi. So, as a mark of celebration, he is donating the books to FFRF's library. ஒவ்வொரு மொழியிலிருந்து ஒரு புத்தகம் ஒரு அடையாளத்திற்காக அவருடைய நூலகத்திற்காக வழங்கப்படுகிறது. அவர்கள் அங்க வைப்பாங்க. The commemorative stamp.
The government of India, which is nothing but Modi earlier, it was an RSS and all these things. The Janata government, not Congress government, has brought out this centenary stamp of Periyar centenary. And there, they were given more than stamp. They have given this one explanatory note. This is very important. E.V. Ramaswamy, commemoration stamp 17/9/78. 17, even before your organization. This one. And you know, here, this is very important. And few lines. In Hindi and English, both languages, because Hindi is their official language, that is, they have used this one. The last one para. An ardent fighter, Periyar. See, in 1938, PVR was elected president of the Justice Party. Justice Party. He started a movement in the cause for Tamil during this period. As he said, Tamil about language and all this. At this famous Forum conference in 1944, he and his lieutenant, the late C.N. Annadurai, late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, who is an author for the Dravidian model government, and converted the Justice Party into a new organization called the Dravida Kazhagam. I am citing the official version of the government of India. An ardent fighter about Periyar, an ardent fighter, an avowed revolutionary, and a hard-headed rationalist. His head was hard, but heart was very soft, moral part. And EVR was simple and humane. He passed away on December 24, 1933, when he was 94. This I am presenting. Yes, also. He has also presented 2 books to me. I'm very thankful. I will put it in the library. Two books. Free Will Explained. How Science and Philosophy converge to create a beauty, and how science, very important sentence. How science and philosophy converge to create a beautiful illusion. Author of God, the most unpleasant character in all fiction. The most unpleasant character in all Thank you.
Hold hand. Say joint photo. Okay.
நன்றி உரைக்கு முன்னதாக திருமதி ஆர் சாந்தா அவர்களின் பெயரில் அதிரா அவர்களுடைய மூன்றாம் வயதை ஒட்டி நாகம்மையார் குழந்தைகள் இல்லத்திற்கு ரூபாய் 5000 தமிழக தலைவர் ஐயா அவர்கள் நன்கொடையாக வழங்கினார்கள். நன்றியுரை வழக்குரைஞர் நம்ம வீரமந்திரி அவர்கள், பெரியார் நூலக வாசகர் வட்டத்தினுடைய தலைவர்.
I would like to thank respectful Daniel Barker from Freedom from Religion Foundation for his enlightening speech. I would like to thank respectful Amita Paul from FFRF for his thought-provoking speech. Thanks, Mr. Avinash Patel from Maharashtra for your wonderful words. I would like to thank our leader, Dr. Asriyar Ayya, for his great thoughts today evening. I would like to thank Dr. Tamil Selvan for his welcome speech. Thanks to Kumaresan Ayya for his introduction speech. Thanks to Professor Dr. Davamani for her good thoughts. Thanks Dr. Prince for his comparing. Also, I thank each one of you who entertaining this occasion. Thank you.